Hello, in the last video we updated the node to 9.2.1 and in this video we're going to be adding Grafana as a monitoring tool for the node and the server behind it. Now I already have a video on setting up Grafana for monitoring on this channel, but we're going to do it again because that one used an old Grafana version, and let's see if we can make it nice and modern. So what we're going to do is use CNTools again for this. There is a setup mon script, and the page in the docs is appendix monitoring that explains what it does. So basically installs Prometheus, node exporter, and Grafana. And yeah, configure Prometheus to connect to, configures Prometheus for cardano-node and node exporter. And provisions the Prometheus service to be available as a data source. Yes, but we need to add it in Grafana later. Provisions 2 common Grafana dashboards. These are probably out of date and we'll be creating our own dashboard anyway, but it does do that. And yeah, deploys these three things as systemd services. So let's go ahead. Now, if I go to the server in my CNode home scripts, I have this setup mon script. So let's look at what's in there. Basically some environment variables. So our node is on localhost. This is the port. We haven't changed that, so that's all correct. Now this is where the Grafana host should run. So if we run 000, we can access from the outside. Of course, we need to open the port. We'll do that later. Prometheus variables, okay, and here are the versions that are going to get installed. So the last Grafana video, I don't know, I think it was like major version 6 maybe, something. So now it's 8.5.1. so some things are different. Anyway, if you are not using the CNTools scripts, you can still just get this script. I think it runs independently and download it. So I just did. It's probably the same. The version haven't changed. It's probably the same, but you can always run this to update it. chmod 750. Or did it download to .1? Well, anyway, it looks the same, so I'm just gonna remove this one. Yeah, without further ado, chmod, I think it's already executable, but let's just run it. So yeah, before you run it, you can edit these things if you need to. For my setup here, everything seems to be correct. If you want to put the monitoring folder where Grafana and Prometheus will be installed somewhere else, you can change this here. And yeah, that's about it. You also have the -h command to specify some stuff. So yeah, that's the directory we're talking about. Where the node is exporting the metrics, right? So we are looking at the localhost node here and the port, yeah, which is, so these are just the defaults that we saw, but you can change this if it's different for your setup. So let's just run it. Downloading Prometheus, downloading Grafana, great. And the exporter, okay. Sudo password. Great, and it's done. So the services, it says here, the services have already been started. So we can check, I don't know if the service name is like CNode Grafana, or is it, well, there's probably a Prometheus service. So Prometheus is running. That's good. Service ready to receive web requests. Great. And then I don't know if there's a Grafana server service. It's already running on port 5000. Okay. So yeah, I cleared the terminal, but there was some other stuff here. So what we need to do is log into Grafana. The default is admin. You can change the password later. Then we need to add the data source that I mentioned before. And then, you know, it's all ready. We can create any dashboard we want or use some templates. So yeah, we need to open the port to access this Grafana dashboard. Like I'm gonna access it from my PC. So I'm gonna allow from any to any port 5000. Okay, so if I find my IP address of this server, and then I go to that IP address, and I type 5000, it says it's not secure, but I don't care right now. Okay, it's not secure because it's HTTP, right, instead of HTTPS, but we're not doing TLS now. So admin, I log in, and I need to change the password immediately. So your password should be longer than this, but this is not you know, super important for me right now. Okay, and we have Grafana. So here, data sources. Oh, I guess it is added then. Okay, so we don't need to do anything here. It's added, and then if we go to dashboards, we should have some, yeah, we have like 2 dashboards here. Now this is pretty old, so like if you see NA here, that's probably because this metric like may not exist anymore or whatever, but you do see that some of them are working, right? So cardano-node chain db metrics block num int, we have this metric and the graph is showing something, so we can change this to show last 5 minutes. It's since we only have data from, you know, last 5 minutes, the last 6 hours doesn't make sense to look at. And you see the labels here. Yeah, we can change this. It's not very well, I mean, it's fine, I guess, but imagine if you add more sources for data, like if you have this node and you have another node and so on, then this might be a bit hard to read. Maybe you want to name them specifically, and in that case you would need to do that in the Prometheus file. So I think this is all covered in the last video. If you want to check that out, you can. In this video I'll be focused on creating a dashboard with the new Grafana version and setting up some alarms. But just to show you, so you have this monitoring folder, and in here you have Prometheus, and then somewhere in here, yeah, the YAML file will have the actual job configurations, right? So this is the job name with the target of 12798 on localhost. So this is the port that's in the cardano-node config that's saying like has Prometheus on this IP and on this port. So those are metrics from the node. So things like Cardano last block height, that's from the node. I don't know if there are any, yeah, this is, yeah, so there are some like node memory, mem total bytes. This is from node exporter, right? The other thing that we installed. This is not Cardano node, even though the naming may make you think that it is, but it's not. So these are kind of server metrics that are exported through this 9091. Yeah, that's the node exporter port. It's exporting like server statistics, like memory usage, CPU usage, server load, and stuff like that. This is Cardano stuff. And then if you want to add a node, you basically just add more job names here, right? You add a job name, you know, node 2, whatever, you have to quote it, etc. And then in the targets here, you know, you would put the other node IP. Okay. And there are labels, like you can label it like instance, and then you can give it an instance name, like I'm gonna call this relay node 1, for example. You know, you can do this thing. I don't know the exact syntax right now, but it's all in the other video, or you know, in the Prometheus documentation as well. That's how you would be adding multiple nodes. So you would have one Prometheus server. This Prometheus server would then get the data from localhost for the Cardano node, get the data from localhost from node exporter, and then this job name can get the, this is missing a port, so it could be 12798 as well. It would get the Cardano node metrics from another node, like it would fetch from the other server, and then finally this whole thing, the Prometheus job, is exported on localhost 9090, and that's what the Grafana is looking at. So Grafana can have just one data source, and that data source is Prometheus, which is pinging all your nodes you want to add to the network. This is all explained in the previous video, so that's as far as I'm going to go into this. And with that, we can go to Grafana, and we can totally like ignore this dashboard, and we can somehow create a new dashboard. Create dashboard. Okay, so first thing, we're gonna add some panels, you know, to have, what we want is like an overview of the system, like what's going on. And then later we'll set up some alarms that, okay, I didn't actually want to click row. Yeah, delete the row. Okay, if we want to add a panel, we click here and we add a new panel. Okay. Basically, every panel like this can get very complex, but in general, we have these queries here. So here is the metrics browser. This is where we enter a metric that is available through the data source. So if we hit the browser, we see we have a lot of metrics from Cardano node, like Forge adopted, about to lead, Forge, node is leader, node is not leader, so on. And we have some Go, I'm not sure what that is, but the node ones are from node exporter. So those are related to the server itself. So like free memory and so on. And okay, this is basically our workflow when we create panels. So I'm gonna create, let's say I'm gonna take a node and I'm gonna look at the load for the server. Okay, so you can see that's plotted here. I can say last 5 minutes. And now we have this metric loaded. We can say, you know, server load 1 minute. We can add some description, whatever, and we can edit also the visualization, right? So this is a time series. We can have it as a bar chart. That doesn't look good for this data. Stat, yeah, stat kind of looks good. Like it's showing you the current value, I think. And giving you the graph of like how the value evolves at the same time. Gauge, kind of the same thing. Bar. Also, we'll just leave it as time series for now, but also if you have multiple nodes, like some displays might make more sense than others. Like if you have multiple nodes, you know, maybe the, I guess I would like to see, like for each node, maybe it would be a bar chart actually, but not like this. Anyway, let's just leave it as time series for now because it seems to make sense. Okay, so it's one graph we are interested in and we added it, right? Let's add another one for something with cardano-node, like cardano-node block height, maybe block num. Let's see what this gives us. Okay, I think this is the, yeah, this is the absolute. And then we probably have something like in epoch. Maybe if we look at the metric, we can, no, just epoch int block num block count latest. Okay, let's just leave it at this for now. So this would be like the block height metric. And this is a metric that we expect to always go up, right? If we are syncing, the block height is always going up. So this would be a great example of data that we can set up on an alarm on. Because if this ever stops growing, then we know we have stopped syncing. So either the network has stagnated, or our node has crashed, or whatever. Like not getting new blocks is not a good sign. So in this case, we could set up an alarm. Yeah, actually, okay, we can somehow change the name of the dashboard, maybe, I don't know. If you make an, oh yeah, here. Okay. If you ever make a change to the dashboard, like you have to save it, right? Otherwise, if you reload the page, it's not going to be there. If I reload now, I'm going to have my graphs here. Okay, before we get into creating alarms, let's add a few more panels that I think are good. So especially for block producing nodes, CAS period, so remaining CAS periods. No data. No, there is data. Okay, CAS periods, we can do a visualization like bar gauge. Okay, we can set it to vertical. Whatever. The short is the type, min is I guess 0. We can set even the max here to 62, right? So this would be the maximum number. Is it 62 or 63? I don't know. The max number of CAS periods remaining. So we are on 18. We can even set up thresholds here. So let me see, if we are on base, we are red. Like if we are above 20, we can say it's kind of orange, and if we are above 30, then like we are good, we are green, right? So now in the red, you know, we need to take care of our cast periods. We can't let them expire, so we could renew them. Like, of course, 18 periods is not that much. We can probably do like 10 here, 20, 30. So 30 could be still green. This could be yellow, orange. Then below 10 can be red. Anyway, yeah, apply main cast periods. This doesn't need to be that big. You see, you can drag around stuff here. It's a very cool UI actually. Okay, remaining cast periods, maybe something else from node exporter, like memory, or maybe time x estimated error seconds. Okay, so this is basically time sync. This is how close you are to real time. So in this server, we don't have cron and anything configured. There's a video on that, but basically block producers should be keeping time. The server should be keeping time very precisely, because it's like a 1 second thing where you need or don't need to create a block. So this could also be a useful graph. All right, so that's how you create panels. We're not gonna create any more right now, but we do want to take care of alerting. Before we do, I will also just import the dashboard that I use, and I'll make this so you can import dashboards in Grafana with JSON, like templates, and I'm gonna paste mine in here. I'll make it available as well in the video description, the file somewhere if you want to import it. So imported Eden. So this is basically what I use. Block delay, load average, block height, peers connected. This is no data here because my BP is running on non-peer-to-peer mode, but these are connections regarding peer-to-peer, like incoming, outgoing. Last block slot height. So this is in epoch. And then we have the remaining cast periods, node uptime, memory usage, swap usage, blocks, assigned, forged, adopted, eventually discarded. If this goes up, there's probably something wrong. Missed slots, important for block producers. Basically, missed slots are the ones that the node failed to check if it's leader or not. So it correlates to this slot length thing. If this goes up a bit, it means that one of the checks was missed. So if you had a block in that check, then it would mean you missed that block, which is bad. Memory usage, like block sync speed, chain density, stuff like that. Okay, so that's my dashboard, and let's try to make an alarm here. So here we have the block num. So this is the absolute block height, not in epoch, but absolute. Let's try to make an alarm here. Before, making an alarm was really easy, and now with new Grafana versions, it's really hard. So basically, what we can think about what we want this alarm to do. Well, we have this data, we have the current value, which is, you know, for this example, let's say 10. Let's say the block height is 10. And we look at 5 minutes ago, or, you know, doesn't matter, some minutes ago, and the value is 5. Okay, so we went from 5 to 10. Great, it means going up, we are sinking, right? We are always expecting this this graph to be going up. It means our node is sinking, new blocks are coming in. We should never stop. If we stop, it means something's wrong and we're gonna alert. So let's try to make an alert for that. Save the dashboard, fine. Okay. So we have this metric. If we click run query, then it should evaluate and show us the bar here, but I didn't see the error. Cannot add self-referencing node for var a. I don't know. Okay. So we have the chart here. Now, if you see like this classic condition, like before we could use this diff and we can say diff of b now and b 5 minutes ago is above, and that would be it. That's all we need. But we can't do that anymore because Grafana has a better alerting system now. And I guess it's more powerful, yes, but it's also a pain in the ass to make something as simple as we could have done it before. So first of all, let's switch this to 5 minutes. So since we can't work with just this one, we basically need a couple of queries here. And so the first one will be just from now to now. That's gonna be our value for the current block height now. And the other one will use the same metric, block num, but instead of now, it will use 5 minutes ago, and it will be from and to 5 minutes ago. So if you run this query, since it's a single data point, it doesn't show in the time series, but it shows in the stat. And we see the difference, right? Here it's 574, here it's 562. So in 5 minutes, we sync like 12 blocks. Great, that's good. Now we would like to say when the difference between these two is something, then alert. Still can't do that. Okay, great. Maybe we want to use math, and in math we can reference things like our queries, right? So this query is called B, this query is called C. So we can say B minus C, for example. Run the query, we get no data. Doesn't work. Why not? Because new Grafana system. Okay, so we can't do this. So in order to use math, well, in order to use it the way we want to use it, we first, sorry, this is a query. We need, by the way, like this is a query, right? These two are queries and these are expressions. So we need another expression that's gonna reduce our query to the last value of the query, which is already here. But I don't know, so B and C, so we need to reduce B and C. So if we query this to show it as stat, we'll see, okay, these are the same. But I guess the type is different, right? This is basically just a number, and this is still kind of a time series, I suppose. So this reduced value will work with the math expression. And we need another one for the other query, our C, that's 5 minutes ago. So we reduce that one as well. So reduce C, we run the queries, show it as stat. Okay, so we have 7967, 7967. Okay, so the numbers are the same. And now if we run not B minus C, but instead D minus E, those are the reduced thingies, we get the difference. Okay, great. So now it's just about how we want to set up the alarm. Do we already have, this is the math. Yeah, and we can just set up alarm directly in the math expression, because other than just computing a value, we can also say like less than 0, for example, you know, and then this will either be true or false, right? Or if we say greater than 1, then it will show 1, right? Because the difference is, of course, 12. So let's think what the rule should be for the alarm. What we're looking at is basically, if we subtract these two numbers, we are expecting to see a difference of at least something. Let's say at least 1. So if this is less than 1 in any case, then we have a problem. We can assume our node has stopped or something worse has happened. And in this case, if we evaluate that, we see 0, right? So it's false. This condition is not satisfied because our node is syncing, so that's fine. If we, let's say, change this to expect our node to sync an unreasonable amount of blocks, then it would still be true. But okay, we leave it as 1, and that's it. So we alarm on the condition A, that's this one that we were just showing, and we can preview the alerts. The state is normal now, right? That's fine. Dashboard UID. Yeah, so this is add details to your alert. So when the bot sends us the alert, it will use this kind of stuff, and you know, we can say, well, we can say like description or summary. We say block height has not moved in 5 minutes. Okay, yeah, this is the rule for the alarm. So you see, it's like 5 things to do one simple thing, and there is an error. Okay, so node alarms, we have to create a folder and group. Rules within the same group are evaluated after the same time interval. Node, okay. Invalid both annotations and panel ID must be specified. Okay. So we set the dashboard UID, and what else needs to be specified? Invalid alert query B, invalid time range. Oh shit. Okay, no problem. Like from now to now, I guess we can't really do this, but we can say, you know, from 1 minute ago, doesn't matter, because we're always looking at the last value. So if we run this, yeah, it changed, but it changed because, you know, it synced some blocks, not because this is actually doing anything different, right? It's still, this is 8.7, this is 8.7, this is 7.8, this is 7.8, and this expression is still good. So let's try to save now. Yeah, same thing for C. So we can't really have this same from and to, but if we say from 6 minutes ago to 5 minutes ago, then it's good enough, right? And again, this didn't change because I changed this, it just changed because the value changed of the metric. And there we go, we have the rule, and that's it. So this alarm is fine. If we look at the dashboard now, we have this icon here showing there is alarm associated with it. Okay. State is normal now, and so on. Okay. So what we want to do next is have a contact point for our bot. Now, how do we do that? You can check how to integrate Grafana, alerting, and Telegram. It's really pretty simple. You just message bot father to create a bot, and then you obtain the API key from the bot father, and then you need to add the bot to some group where where you will receive the alarm messages. Yeah, by the way, all of this is covered in the other video. so I'm kind of zipping through it. But basically, after you get that, you get the chat ID and the bot API token. So I'm just gonna show you, if you create a new contact point and you call this Telegram bot, I'm not gonna paste my API token, but the chat ID is fine. So basically, you would paste your API token here. Which looks something like this. Okay, and then you would hit save. This is not my token, but you would hit save, and then you can actually, before you hit save, I think, yeah, there is test, so you can send a test notification. This one doesn't work because the bot token is invalid, but let me just quickly add it. Okay, so I added mine, and if I send a test notification, okay, I just got a Telegram message, which you don't see, but what you do see is that the test alert has been successfully sent. So basically in Grafana, this is all you need to do. How to get the chat ID and the bot token, you handle that in Telegram. It's very simple. Here I'll put this link in the description so you can follow it. All you need is basically the chat ID and the API token. And that's it, my friends. Grafana setup. You have a nice dashboard for the node. I think it shows everything you need to know. Like, you take one look at it and you know if things are okay or not. You have an alarm in case something goes wrong at any time. Of course, you're not looking at the dashboard all the time, so that's when alarms come in handful. And of course, now you know how to create alarms. You can create alarms, you know, for example, on memory usage. You know, memory usage is above 80%, create an alarm. CPU utilization is more than it should be, alarm. Whatever you want, you know, cache periods are down to 5, alarm, and so on. So there you go. Thank you for watching, and if there is anything that's unclear, let me know. Also, if there is something that's unclear, you might find it in the older video that I'll link in the description as well, that goes through the whole process of like setting up a bot and everything for alerting. So I'm not gonna go through that here. That's it for this video. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one.